Okay, so we're going to be doing a chicken wing dissection. Why would we want to do a chicken wing dissection? Well, because you can make a comparison of the chicken wing with the human arm. And you can learn about the bones, you can see the bones, and you can learn about how the muscles move the bones. So the fact is, we're not that different from chickens. And when you look at the wing, you're going to see the radius, you're going to see the ulna, you're going to see the humerus, all bones that the human arm has. In fact, there are many, many bones that we have in common with the chicken. A lot of them are listed here, such as the phalanges and the pollex, which is the thumb. Okay, and the chicken has something called carpometacarpus, where we have carpals and metacarpals. Okay, but lots of similarities. Okay, in some ways, we're doing what is called comparative anatomy. Looking at the human arm, which we've studied already, and you've got the humerus, you've got the radius, the ulna, the carpals, the metacarpals, and the phalanges. And then we've got the bird, which is what we're studying, and you can see those same bones, the humerus, the ulna, the radius, carpals, metacarpals, phalanges, and you can even see the same bones in the bat. Okay, so these are indicating that we are descendants of a common ancestor. And you might remember from biology class that these are called homologous structures. Okay, and homologous structures are structurally the same, but they actually serve different purposes in different animals. So you can certainly see that two of these are using those same bones for flight, but of course humans don't fly. Okay, so they're structurally the same, but not functionally the same. Okay, so when we do our chicken wing dissection, you're going to observe those same bones. So this is a chicken wing that has carefully had its muscle removed from it. And so you can see the humerus, okay, and you can see the radius, and of course you can see the ulna. Okay, and so we will also observe muscle, and the muscle is the part that we normally eat. Of course, we cook it first, and you can see blood there, that little red area, and you can see the skin. Okay, so you will observe all of those things in the chicken wing. Okay, and just like the human, you will see all of these features, including the biceps muscle. And I want you to look very carefully for the biceps tendon, which will be holding the bicep muscle to the radius. Okay, so you don't want to cut that tendon. Do not cut the biceps tendon. And that's because you're going to be able to pull up on the bicep muscle and notice that the radius pulls up along with it. So you're going to perform a flexion of the forearm. And so if you've cut the tendon, then that's going to be a huge problem for you. Okay, so do not cut the biceps tendon, because you will need to tug on the biceps brachii to flex the chicken's forearm. Okay, so you have to look for the tendon, which is sort of whitish and can be actually difficult to see, but you can see the difference between the muscle, which is this sort of beige structure, and then the tendon is whitish, okay, sort of white and shiny. Okay, but since we're on the topic of muscle, let's talk about the difference between white meat and dark meat. It's all muscle, and if you eat chicken or turkey, for example, you might prefer white meat over dark meat, or you might be a dark meat eater. I personally like dark meat, and dark meat to me is a lot juicier. But the question is, why is dark meat dark and white meat white? Okay, dark meat carries myoglobin, and myoglobin is for oxygen storage. And so what's the purpose of oxygen? Why do we need oxygen? Well, of course, we need oxygen because oxygen helps us to make ATP. And so we need more oxygen in the tissues that are going to be transporting us. And so this muscle, which is the dark meat muscle that carries the myoglobin, which carries the oxygen, tends to be in the places such as the legs and also in the wings, which are going to transport the bird. Okay, white meat is muscle, but it's not an endurance muscle. Okay, it doesn't have to go long distances, such as for flight, and it fatigues more quickly. Okay, so myoglobin is storing this oxygen, and it is also a pigment that makes the muscle look sort of beige or brownish. Okay, so the fact is, dark meat we call a slow twitch muscle. Okay, this is a certain type of muscle that does endurance exercises. Okay, if you are a long distance runner, you are using your slow twitch muscles. If you're a sprinter, you're using your fast twitch muscles. Okay, and the fast twitch muscles do not contain a lot of myoglobin, but the slow twitch muscles contain a lot of myoglobin and a lot of oxygen. They sort of have time release oxygen. They move slowly over a long period of time, such as during flight. Okay, and of course the slow twitch muscles contain myoglobin. The myoglobin stores oxygen, and it is a protein pigment. Okay, and so it is giving the dark meat its dark color, but that myoglobin is also providing a function. Let's look at myoglobin here, and I'll bet some of you were already thinking about hemoglobin. Okay, so we've been talking about myoglobin, which is the protein in dark meat, slow twitch muscle that carries oxygen. Okay, but hemoglobin also carries oxygen in the blood. Okay, and hemoglobin is this big protein with 4 subunits, and they each contain heme. So you actually have 4 hemes per hemoglobin, and you can carry 4 oxygen molecules on each hemoglobin. And myoglobin is kind of like hemoglobin because it also contains heme, but just 1. It's kind of like a single subunit of hemoglobin if you think about it. And so it will bind to oxygen, and the heme releases oxygen when the muscle needs oxygen. So getting back to what you will observe in your chicken dissection, you'll observe fat. You can see that right here. And just like in humans in the subcutaneous layer, the fat is just under the skin. And you will observe tendons. Here you have tendons of the forearm. Remember that a tendon holds the muscle to the bone. And you also have triceps tendon, which has been cut here because the tricep has been removed. And ligaments will look a lot like tendons, but remember that ligaments hold bone to bone. Okay, and you can see that on the next slide. Okay, and you can see these very shiny, here's another tendon, here's another tendon. But ligaments, which is kind of hard to see here, are holding bone to bone, and they're also shiny. These are pieces of connective tissue that you are going to observe. Okay, the directions for the chicken wing dissection will be in your handout. And so that is the end of this slideshow.